It's very abrupt. But I'm afraid I don't understand the rules.
Then I shall educate you.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Greetings to all my fellow Buhurt nerds and enthusiasts out there. I am Brandon Komish, bringing you another episode of Komish Buhurt Chronicles today, wherein I explain the finer points and the rules of this medieval mayhem for your benefit and that of the pretty lady. So, without further ado, let's hit the list, shall we? In Buhurt, you have three types of combat played out in an arena known as a list. There are melees, duels, and pro fights. A melee is chaos and joy, where 5 all the way up to 150 knights per side focus on teamwork, strategy, and endurance. The round has no time limit and ends when only one team is left standing. A duel is a much more personal affair, just you and your opponent facing off with an axe, halberd, or long sword, for example. It's all about individual skill, precision, and reading your opponent's moves. Duels are won with points more often than not, but there are the occasional knockouts or painouts here and there. It's about mastering your weapon of choice, controlling the fight, and making each strike count. A pro fight is a duel kicked up a notch, or 20, where you win not just by knocking your opponent to the ground, but by keeping them there. Bouts are won by knockout, if possible, meaning the other guy cannot get back up, and by technical point scoring otherwise. So now, here are 5 general rules that apply in some measure across all 3 brands of battle. Rule number 1. Armor up, noob. You can't just grab any suit of armor off eBay. This isn't LARP. Nothing against LARP, but this has to be historically accurate, and more importantly, it has to meet rigorous safety standards to protect you and your entire body from all the various tools of pain in the list with you. If your armor's not up to par, you'll leave the arena with more than a dented helm. Rule number 2. Tools of pain, not death. The weapons are fierce, they're metal, heavy, and some have serious momentum behind them. However, because we're not trying to disembowel anyone with armor-piercing thrusts or stabs, they are blunted. And for good measure, stabbing is simply not allowed. Oh, you can also strike with your shield and or a gauntleted fist. Rule number 3. Stay on your feet. This is the golden rule, especially for a melee, but it also helps in a pro fight, unless you're the one on top of the ground and pound. If 3 points of contact touch the ground in a melee or duel, you're out, or you lose points. Your opponent can try to trip you, throw you, exhaust you, push you over a fallen knight, or make you pain out. What is a pain out, you ask? Well, that is the moment when a hit lands so hard that your brain has a brief heart-to-heart with your body and says, you know what, I think we're done here. Imagine you're in the middle of an intense melee. Adrenaline's pumping, sweat rolling, lungs are burning, you're feeling like an unstoppable force, and then wham! You catch a perfectly timed and placed halberd strike that turns your internal monologue from a knuckle-dragging, I must dominate the field, to a more cartoonish, why do I do this? That, my friends, is a pain out. Rule number 4. No sucker punches. Striking your opponent is all part of the game, to be sure, but cheap shots are not. No hitting the groin, the feet, the back of the neck, or the knees. And remember, no stabby stabby. You cannot lever your weapon under the chin or helm, and there are no moves which are meant to hyperextend joints. A lot of us are in our late 30s, okay? So ain't nobody got time for that mess. Rule number 5. Respect the referee. The refs, known hitherto by their more appropriate name, marshals, are the lords of the field. What they say goes. Argue with them and you may find yourself sitting out faster than you can say ye old time out. Buhurt is brutal, intense, unrelenting, and not for the faint of heart. That said, anyone can try it. If you're not the most athletic person, you can focus on melees, where you can more easily fill a role on a team. If you don't have the level of nerd rage and battle fury needed for a pro fight, focus instead on duels, where it is a little more important that you be fit. And all the while, if you've embraced the sport as a way of life, a Buhurt Bushido of sorts, you'll always be improving your strength, physical fitness, and mental fortitude needed to excel in the sport.
Nope, I gotta wrap up this episode. That about does it for today. Stay tuned for next week when me and the fam visit another Renaissance fair in Utah, where they have not only Buhurt, but full contact jousting. That's right, knights on horses, a knight's tale style. Who is Dr. Mario? Stay tuned next week to find out who even is Dr. Mario. What else? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be seeing some of my old pals from the New Fighter Orientation from the Boise Club. I'm looking forward to that. And I am going to be meeting several new knights that I've been corresponding with on Discord. And after the Renaissance Fair, I'm going to be attending a 3-hour practice session with the Order of the Silver Rose. They have not a few knights fully armored, and they're getting ready for a tournament in Ireland. So I'm very excited to go participate in that as well. As always, if you enjoy these chronicles, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And remember, Buhurt is life.